Yo, what's up, guys? This is Nathan Craig, and this is Matthew Tabone. So basically today, we were working together. He was working for the first time in a while, and it went really well. We were killing the food bank, and I was telling him I just started a podcast. And he was saying he wants to be on the podcast, and we were gonna try to film something. So we got the new background from the pod, and we got we got some guitars, we got some drinks, and we're gonna have a good time here. So basically, my podcast to this date is trying to be I've only done one, but the first one was about testimonies, and Matthew T has a really cool testimony, man. It really inspired me when he told me today. When you look out to God, he will just honor that. And when you're having a hard time and you look out to God anyways, it shows a lot of courage and strength in that. And I think it's so cool talking. That's why I love this podcast. I love talking to people about their story and how they found God and stuff. So dude,
So basically, what happened with me was, I was completely rock bottom, and I was so desperate to find something that would fulfill me, spiritually. And one day I ran into somebody that's a good friend of mine now, and he introduced me to this church, and I started going every Sunday. I would go to Bible study.
That's awesome, man.
I would read the Bible every day. I would pray day and night. I'd pray day and night. I'd be the first one at church, last one to leave. I would run to church. I remember one day my pastor prayed over me, and I ran home for the first time so happy, because I used to run half marathons and stuff. So I'd run back and forth from church. But I remember one day I was they prayed for me at church, and I ran home so happy. I'd never been so happy in my life. But basically where I'm going with this is, I was basically rock bottom, and I was open to something to help me get better. And things just aligned where I found the right church, the right people that helped me out. And
that's amazing, man. That's so cool. And also one more question, the last podcast I did, my buddy was talking about how when you find God, you feel that peace that surpasses all understanding. Did you feel that peace where you can't put it into words? Did you feel that?
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
No, honestly, God saved my life. I prayed. I was so down bad. I prayed to God. I said, Lord, if you can heal me from the mental health that I'm struggling with, and I can be a productive citizen again, I promise you I will live the rest of my life for you.
Nice.
And
so cool.
It didn't happen right away. It took a long time, and it took a lot of praying, a lot of hard work. But God did heal me. I still struggle with mental health, but I'm a completely new person.
That's amazing, man.
I'm so happy inside. All I want to do is help others. Yeah,
I don't know if I told you this, but I think I told you this today in the food bank, or I told you before. But I actually overdosed on I'm not gonna get into what drugs I was doing, but I overdosed, and I almost died. And I prayed too. I said, God, if you're real, save my life this one time, and I will live the rest of my life for you. So it's kind of similar to yours. You had the same question, and then God went in, and you felt the peace that surpasses all understanding that doesn't make sense, which I think is beautiful, man. I think it's so cool. And we're gonna talk about some other things, and today, but I think we're done talking about faith and the rock, but it's really cool. We both went through a lot, and then we both help youth where we used to be.
Yeah.
And we could pull them out. Jesus wasn't this rich elite. Jesus was in the dirt. He came out of the dirt, and he saved lives, and God, Jesus was in the dirt, and he pulled me out of my dirt, just like you. We weren't perfect people, man. We really struggled, and God pulled us out of it.
Yeah, and I'm forever grateful for God. Every day is a blessing. I'm happy to be alive, healthy, breathing, have a place to sleep at night. Food, family, and that's why I am so passionate about helping youth and doing social service work, because God saved my life, but I don't want others to have to go through such a traumatic experience and have to overcome that and get to the other side. I want to prevent it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to go through what I went through growing up. I had a good family, but I went through a lot of I was bullied a lot, And like I dealt with a lot of substance abuse, mental health issues, and I speak for the kid who's like 17, 18 years old that just went to the hospital for the first time, just went through a drug overdose, and I want him to pull him out of that because I don't want him to go through what I went through. So yeah, you want to talk about like weed too, because do you want to talk about like your experience with weed? Because I have a lot to say about that drug, man.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's a cool drug, that it's not addictive, that you know, now that it's legal, that, you know, there's no health risks, but I struggle with an addiction. I smoke cannabis. And honestly, it feels like such a heavy weight on my shoulder every day, and it's so addicting. And I started at such a young age that like, and it's not good for your brain, right? For development. Yeah,
I started at 14 years old, and it really messed with my like mental health too. I've been into like weed-induced like psychosis basically, and I went through a lot with weed. And yeah, I'm glad you're talking about this because not a lot of people are like want to talk about how destructive it is as a drug, right? But like we don't judge anyone that smokes, obviously, but like I haven't smoked in a long time, and yeah, I don't know if you still struggle or not, but yeah, it's like it's good to get off of it, man, because it's not for everyone. I know there's a fact that like if you smoke weed, you're 40% more likely to go into psychosis, and if you don't, I saw that like in St. Joe's. And I went through a lot with marijuana, man. It was so hard to get off of, but I've been like clean for a long time off of it. And people say like, you know, it's not a hard drug. It's a soft drug. It's not a hard drug. But man, like it could be just as destructive as a lot of drugs, man. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Like going
and especially if you struggle with mental health, it can like destroy your motivation. Because like say you smoke weed, so you temporarily feel like numb and happy, right? But you didn't have to do anything to achieve that. It was like instant gratification, right?
I know, God will give you that anyways, right?
Yeah, not only that, but because you're getting like instant gratification, then you get lazy and you don't feel like doing anything all day. Instead of if you were sober, you'd wake up and okay, I'm bored, so I'm gonna go clean my room. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna go apply for a job instead of just being content with being content with how your life is, and just because you're high.
I used to wake and bake every morning, and like I'm so glad I'm not living in that because it was brutal, man. Like I love that. At first, you're like, okay, I'm hungry. I'm enjoying this TV show more. But then it just gets like in your head. If not for everyone, but it's destructive, and we shouldn't be teaching like young kids that it's okay, like because it could be like a really destructive drug, man. It's like, so yeah, we want to talk about that today. We want to talk about his story, God, The Rock, but yeah, that's really cool, man. All right, so Matthew. So what I want to ask you, right, is who were you before you found God, and who are you now? Like, tell me that story. Like, how did finding Christ like really turn your life around? Because for me, like, finding Christ was everything. And like, finding Christ like took me out of the dirt and brought me a new life. I have new friends now. I'm definitely physically, mentally, spiritually. And I just want to know, like, who were you before you found God? Who are you now?
Bro, before I found God, I was totally lost. My dad passed away when I was 1, right? And I'd never had anyone to mentor me or really guide me. So I would look up to rappers like 50 Cent and Chief Keef and stuff, right? And, you know, what they rap about. So that's kind of what influenced me. And like, so I was like 10 years old, and, you know, I wanted to commit suicide. I was, I didn't understand why I lost my dad at such a young age. I didn't understand why things in my household were like very traumatic, and I just wanted to end it there, but I'm glad I never did. But
I'm glad too, man. I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here, not at this podcast, not in my house, but you know, I'm glad you're here on this planet, man, because you encourage so many people. You're so encouraging, you're so personable, and I think it's like great what you're doing with your life, man, and I'm excited for you to see where you're gonna go, man.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. So yeah, you know, I grew up with a lot of anger in me. I was mad at the whole world. Basically, I was like, you're gonna take my dad away from me? I'll show you. And I basically took out my anger on anybody that I could. I was a bully in high school. I got in a lot of trouble. Hung out with the wrong crowd. And I'm not gonna lie, I've hurt a lot of people like emotionally, and that I really regret that. But I just to give you an example of like my lifestyle back in the day, basically it was just smoking weed, doing any crime like I could think of.
All right, so buddy, like you want to talk about like the city, because I don't know if like most of the viewers of this will be from Hamilton, but we're also from Hamilton, born and raised, right? Were you born in Hamilton?
Yeah, I was born in Richmond Hill, but I lived in Hamilton most of my life.
Dude, so like, what's going on with their city, man?
Bro, like, there's so much homelessness. There's drug problems like crystal meth, fentanyl. The youth. There's so many youth out there that either don't have parents, or don't have guidance, don't have a family to support them, and they're kind of just forgotten about. And all they can really rely on are these nonprofits to help them. But I think we need a whole community to support the youth in our city. I
know, and like we're calling shelters all the time, and like all the shelters are full. Like we need some more like shelters in our city. We need more like support, because like people like places like the Rock can't do it all on their own, right? We need like some help, man. So the city needs help.
So that's kind of my biggest passion, is like seeing a need in the city and then bringing people together to like for one cause and like helping that and like bringing a solution. That's kind of like my passion. So like, for example, what's an issue that you see every day?
Drugs.
Yeah. So like, what can we do about that?
Shelter. I know like another one's shelter too. Like I heard February in Hamilton, Canada is going to be very cold. There like. Right now it's really cold in Siberia, but the weather is moving to Canada, and we're gonna have a cold month. And I used to work at another non-profit, and I saw a lot of scary stuff with the homelessness in my city, and like people when it gets cold, like it's gonna be really cold in February. So yeah, it's hard like because we're trying to focus on this drug problem, but there's also so many other problems, so many issues as social workers we deal with. But
yeah, literally there's so much the city needs help with, and I don't think people that live in Hamilton, especially up the mountain, realize what's going on in the city. You know, you might just go downtown just for shopping or get something to eat, and you might see like a homeless person asking for change or something, and then that's all, and they go home, right? But they don't know like that person's sleeping outside at night, that person doesn't have food, or that person hasn't taken a shower in a week, or hasn't had a change of clothes, or has no family, no one even acknowledged them that day. One day I was walking down King Street, and somebody was looking at me, and I looked him right in the eye, and he said, "Hey, you!" And I said, "Hey." And he's like, "You're the first person that acknowledged me today." And I was like, wow.
It's beautiful, man. That's awesome. That's a good little...
Yeah. So like, and then I asked him, I was like, "Hey, is there anything I could help you out with?" And he said, "I'm just hungry, brother." And I said, "Okay, just tell me where you like to eat, and I'll buy you lunch." So me and him, we went to Burrito Boys, and we got a burrito, and he was just so grateful. He was so grateful, and even though he had a hard day, he told me like the night before someone threw a brick at his neck, and he went to the hospital. And he was refused service, and so, but he saw like that God was still with him and that he wasn't alone, and I think it was humbling to see someone that has really nothing but is still grateful and smiling and not giving up. So like regarding Arts of August and how I was able to network and like fundraise. Basically, I just live by this rule that nobody's better than me, and I don't like look down on anybody. So going through like my day-to-day life, if I'm on the bus or if I'm walking down the street, I always engage with somebody. So I always meet a new person every day and a new connection. And so I'm always like looking for the next opportunity. So when I meet someone, I'm always like humble, and I'm always open to learning. So say I'm shopping for clothes, like I'll ask questions, I'll just be super interested in trying to learn. And then like an event will come up and I'll be like, oh, I remember I met this person at so and maybe they would be interested in helping out for a fundraiser and helping out the city. And usually what I find is that if you're a nice person and you're kind when you first meet someone, and you work for like a reputable place like Living Rock, that people are willing to give back to the community and help and support. They just need to know like what programs to support, and like what's the most important area where they should donate their money, especially in this like tough times right now, right?
Yeah, a lot of business owners are like trying to do something. They're trying to make an impact too, right? Like not just social workers, like business owners too. And they want an opportunity where they can help a place like The Rock, because The Rock does like amazing stuff. Dude, that was so cool. Like I remember like you were on stage as a hype man and stuff, and like it went so well. Like I loved it, and like, dude, that's so cool, man. That's really cool.
Yeah. See, like XXX Chucks.
Shout out Chucks. He's the man.
Yeah, people like him. Like I met him on one time on Instagram, and
I gave you his Insta.
Yeah, he gave me his Insta, and I'm like, yo, The Rock's doing this Arts of August show. Would you be willing to show up and, you know, rap a song and show support for Arts of August and for the youth? And he was so down. And there's so many people like that want to help out. But you can't be afraid to ask. So like when I'm trying to fundraise, like my ego goes out the door.
Yeah. Pretty
much. And I basically I tell them straight up like, hey, I'm working for a nonprofit agency where we help youth that are at risk in the city. So it connects to them because they live in Hamilton, and everybody, you know, wants youth to do well. So when I mention that's who we're helping, and then I give them an idea on how they could possibly help, and then like 90% of the time people are willing to help and give back. That's what I found.
A lot of good people out there, man. Like sometimes you get this view of the world like everyone sucks.
Exactly right.
I used to think like when my friends like would rip me off, I had a friend like rip me off of money and stuff. And like I had a lot of people like betray my trust, and I was kind of like, bro, like everyone sucks, man. But then I started working at The Rock, and I realized like there's a lot of good people out there, and my faith in humanity was like restored at The Rock. When someone donates like a bag of clothes, everything in their house, when someone donates to The Rock, even sometimes when we have a lot of stuff, but when someone donates a lot, it shows there are good people out there. And like I also want to become a better fundraiser. So I'm just listening to what your advice, and I really resonates with me, man.
Yeah, and thank you. I appreciate that. And I love our community. We have a great community that wants to support the youth.
For sure.
So I just wanted to talk about mental health for a sec. For anybody like that struggles with mental health, just want to give like a few like kind words and encouragement. So some people know, some people may not know. I struggle with PTSD, OCD, depression, and anxiety. But the reason I'm saying this is because I want people to know that even if you struggle with mental health and serious mental health, there is help out there, and you can live a fulfilling life while struggling with mental health.
Yeah, man. There's real doctors out there. There's real medication. There's so much help out there, and like, yeah, like I almost want to leave some like resources in the description of this video, man. But yeah, dude, Matthew, I love the talk today, man. Like, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, if you're struggling with mental health and you feel guilty, you feel ashamed, or your friends are judging you, don't listen to anybody. Your health is the most important thing. Listen to your doctor. There's CBT, there's so many resources out there that can help you with mental health, and just never give up. Know that there will be a day that you will feel better, and there's another side. And if you're really down bad and you're feeling lost, reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, reach out to me. There's always someone there for you, I hope, and I hope I can be that person.
It's beautiful, man. Honestly, I think we're gonna wrap it up, man. But that was an amazing conversation with an amazing dude, and like I wish you the best for you. Like I know this is just the beginning, man. This is the beginning, and not this podcast. This is the beginning of your life, man, because you've came a long way, and you're a new creation in Christ. And dude, like, I'm really happy about this.
Thanks, yeah. It was a nice conversation.
Dude, so yeah, it's Nathan Craig, Matthew Tabone. Like and subscribe.
Hey, take care, guys.
Take care, guys.